Next up at UFC 281, we have the featured prelim fight. We have Brad Riddell taking on Renato Moicano. Brad Riddell's 10-3 overall, 3-2 in his last 5. He is on a 2-fight skid. Renato Moicano is 16-5 overall, 3-2 in his last 5. He's coming off that short notice, very short notice, main event loss to Rafael Dos Anjos. It's an interesting fight. So Brad Riddell, as we all know, nasty kickboxer, Tiger Muay Thai striking coach. He doesn't have insane power, but he's a very, very good kickboxer. And we've seen him work in takedowns as well. He's worked on his offensive grappling. He had takedowns in 5 of his 6 UFC fights, and in one of those fights against Drew Dober, he had 5 takedowns. He is coming off 2 losses. He got knocked out by Fiziev, but the way that dude's going, he's going to do that to everybody. And then his last loss was a quick submission to Jalen Turner. He got guillotined while shooting. So that is what it is. Renato Moicano is a very well-rounded guy. Dangerous BJJ black belt. He is a technical striker. He doesn't really have knockout power, but he does have good volume, good pace. His chin is a little suspect. I got to go Brad Riddell here. I'm surprised he's the underdog because I don't... Renato Moicano is very well-rounded, but I don't see him taking Brad Riddell down, and he's definitely not going to outstrike him. So in that case, I don't see why Brad Riddell's the underdog. I get it. Moicano's sort of hot and cold, and he looked really good for a few fights, and then took the RDA one, and short notice got bullied a bit. But I don't know what your thoughts are here, but I like Brad Riddell, and I'm, if he was the minus 160 favorite, I'd be like, yep, that sounds about right.
Yeah, I was actually surprised that he was the underdog in this matchup too. I guess it's like, what have you done for me lately? But Moicano in his last fight, I know that was super short notice, and he really shouldn't hold that against him with the RDA fight. And he did kind of show some toughness in there in that fight, withstanding that entire beatdown. Is what it is. But Brad Riddell is the real deal. I mean, he is an actual striker. He's definitely the better striker in this matchup. I think it's just the lack of danger on his side, I guess, is what bettors don't like. When you look at a guy like Moicano, he is a very dangerous guy, even on the feet, but especially on the ground as well. So when you get kind of that style matchup, especially Brad Riddell coming in, showing that he's a wrestler in the last few fights, that's kind of a spell for disaster against a guy like Moicano who can jump on necks, scramble, get your back type situation. But Moicano, again, that's the other guy. I said Wellington Turman is kind of the Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde type thing. Moicano is the other one. When things are going well and he's moving forward and he's striking, he's on your back, he looks like a guy that could be one of the top 5 dudes in this division. But when he starts getting pressured and he's on his back and he's getting hit and he's backing up and he's against the fence, he kind of looks out of sorts. And it's one of those situations where, I'm going to pick Moicano in this fight, and I hope that he has success early because he can kind of get in that rhythm. But if Brad Riddell gets in his face, starts popping that jab out there, breaks his nose, bloodies him up, you're going to see a completely different Moicano than somebody that can control the fight and the pace of a fight. So I'm picking Moicano, but this is one of those, it's probably my least confident pick, literally on probably the entire card, is Moicano in this matchup because Brad Riddell is the real deal, man. I mean, he's a very good striker, can wrestle, can stay out of danger. Moicano is just a little bit more dangerous, so that's why he's my pick. But I agree, these odds seem a little bit crazy to me.
Yeah, if anything, they should be flipped because Moicano's not going to beat him in the stand-up, and if Brad doesn't want to shoot, I don't see it going to the ground. Because I think if Moicano's looking to take shots, I think Brad's going to make him pay for it. And the Brad-Drew Dober fight was impressive because he did work in his own takedowns, but it's impressive because I think he fully recognized, listen, I'm not going to knock this guy out. Look at him. Look at him. Look at that chin. Nothing I can do to that. Let me work in some grappling and get this done, and that's what he did. So I like Brad Riddell, $7,900. Frankly, I think he's probably worth it. Yeah, what?
I do have a great. There's a lot of bets that I love, like safety net type bets for this card. I think I have 3 or 4 of them placed. One of them is for this fight. WeOwnPicks.com, become a premium member. It's only $10. I love a bet that I have for this fight.
Cool. I'll have to check it out.
Cool.
Let me log in and check out your sweet bets. $7,900. I do like Brad Riddell. Do you like him for $7,900 as well?
No.
Okay. Monkey Knife Fight strike line, 63-74. It's probably a more. I think this just stays striking. I think Brad wins a pretty technical striking match with maybe, I think he'll try a takedown at the end of a round to see what it's like, right? To see How sketchy is this down here? That's
like,
not an unreasonable.
It sounds like me every other weekend. Let's just kind of see what it's like. You never know until you really know.
Yeah. Preferably women, but anybody can check out my mattress topper. But I do think he'll work in a takedown at the end of a round.
Oh, like, Elizabeth didn't hear. Elizabeth didn't hear that. Elizabeth just showed up. So
Jacob has a new mattress topper he'd like you to try out.
Well, I mean, consensually, only if you'd like to.
Okay. You could reach out to him directly. Or you can go to onlyfans.com/frecklesalamander.
The Freckled Salamander. It is a real thing. Onlyfans.com/thefreckled salamander. I'm still trying to get they don't want to verify me for some reason.
So can you put content up or no?
No, not until I get verified.
And you've actually gone through
every time I send them a picture, they're like, there's no way this is yours. There is no way this is yours. I'm like, I'm telling you. I mean, that's what people think, but I'm telling you, this is the real deal.
I'm telling you, this is it. There was a horrible accident. So this is what it looks like now. $300 from DV. Angelo needs 1 or 2 beers. Thank you very much.
There should be a 2-drink minimum for Angelo.
I don't drink on these.
I know, but everyone's telling me.
I used to, and then I would start slurring by the end of the card. So now I don't drink on the live streams. And then we used to, in my old house, you and I would go live in my media room, and we would drink and watch the fights there. But then I would just Ron Burgundy, and then I would Ron Burgundy whatever was on the screen, and that got dicey too. So
ice, wallow, come.
It wasn't great. Anyway. WeOwnPicks.com, become a premium member, or WeOwnPicks.com/MKF. Sign up, make a deposit. It is daily fantasy. They'll instantly match that deposit. If you give them 50, they'll give you 50. If you give them 100, they'll give you 100. Play these strike lines. This is a really tricky strike line, but I do think it's a more and more because I think it's standing the whole time. And this is total strikes, not significant strikes. This is just straight up total strikes. I think this is a more and more situation for sure.